What's going on, people? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome to another live show. Sunday night settings. Another week done, another weekend done, and another L for Chelsea. But remarkably, somehow, yes, we've dropped to 7th, but we are still 1 point outside the top 4. I don't know how this is possible. I don't know what's going on here. But with 2 wins from 10 league matches, we are still 1 point outside 4th. It's almost this season feels like no one wants to qualify for the Champions League. Bournemouth losing, Man City losing, Forest losing. Obviously, Villa and Newcastle both winning. But actually, for us, that wasn't a complete disaster. Because, yeah, it's closed things right up. And, yeah, we're a point outside the top 4 somehow. So, yeah, whilst I don't think we're going to qualify for the Champions League, we are still well in the race, and somehow we find ourselves with an opportunity. 2 massive games coming up next, Southampton and Leicester at home. 6 points is a must. 6 points is an absolute must, given the fixtures that we've got left coming up, guys. We've got we've got Brentford away to play still. We've still got to play Arsenal away, Liverpool at home, Man United at home, Forest away, Newcastle away. You know, we've got some really tough away games left still. And we cannot afford to allow any more opportunities to slip. We are letting so many opportunities slip, guys. I mean, honestly, if we had a striker, we'd comfortably be top 4. We'd be where Forest are right now. Dare I say it, we could even be second. We could even be second if we'd recruited properly and we were serious as a football club. But we aren't. The amount of chances that we've been given and the amount of times we have fumbled over the last 10 games, and yet we're still well in the race is incredible. I can't quite get my head around it. I mean, it's a mad Premier League season because the title's done by the end of February, relegation's done, and all that's left to play for now is the race for the European places. You know, both ends of the table are sewn up. And it doesn't look like anyone wants to finish in the top 4. Doesn't look like anyone wants to finish in the top 4, which is, yeah, I can't remember really a race for the top 4 like this, where there's so many teams involved, but no one wants to take advantage of all the opportunities that are being presented. I mean, by the way, big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you are new round here. And make sure you get involved in the chat as well. Big up to everyone that is locked in, guys. Who do you feel will start in goal? Yeah, it has to be Jorgensen. Sanchez, was allowed to make multiple mistakes week in, week out. Jorgensen can't just do one mistake and then be dropped. That would be ridiculous. We can. We can still do it. It doesn't mean that we will, and I don't believe that we will, but we absolutely can somehow still do it. It's still possible. I don't know how we keep getting these chances. We're like a cat, aren't we? The night with 9 lives. We must have used up about 7 of our lives by now this season, and yet we're still hanging in there. Yeah, I mean, if we can't beat Southampton, it's a sackable offence for all involved. They are literally the worst team in Premier League history currently. The worst team. Next 2 games are absolute must-wins. Agreed. I mean, guys, we bring the Premier League table up, by the way. Let's have a quick look at how things are looking. We obviously will move on to Cole Palmer's form, the ownership, all that sort of things with a big week ahead in terms of games and protest and whatnot. Let's have a quick look at the table. So there it is, guys. Obviously, Liverpool title race done and dusted. We know that. This is what's so frustrating, right? Is that if we'd managed to win yesterday, or we'd managed to beat Brighton, for example, we'd be 1 point off third. 1 point off third. Look how close it is. Even Brighton, even down to 9th place. You could even go down to 10th. Literally, in my opinion, anyone from 4th to 10th could finish in the top 4. Fulham, Brighton, Villa, us, Bournemouth, City and Newcastle. Any one of those teams, any one of these 6 teams. well, 7 teams, sorry. Any one of those 7 teams could still finish in the top 4. The top 4 battle is so tight. It's changing week after week. I mean, Bournemouth missed a huge opportunity. You know, Bournemouth would be 4th right now if they'd beaten Wolves on yesterday. Bournemouth would be 4th right now if they'd beaten Wolves. And Wolves at home, you would have backed them to win that game, but they didn't. Man City, you don't know what Man City are going to get from one week to the next. The same with Chelsea. Newcastle, are more than capable of pulling results out. Will Forest's arseholes fall out and will they bottle it? I don't know. They've got a massive game against Arsenal midweek. If they win that, then do we want them to win that? I don't know. No, we probably don't want them to win that. We want them to fall back into the pack. So we need a draw or an Arsenal win preferably in that game. But I don't know how possible that will be. But yeah, look, we've got opportunity. But with opportunity, there's also, it works both ways. There's an opportunity to get ourselves into the top 4, but there's also an opportunity that we could also fall closer to the bottom half of the table. That's the reality. We could fall close to the bottom half of the table. I'm not even thinking about Tuesday night and anything other than 3 points. Anything other than 3 points Tuesday night is an absolute abomination, an absolute disgrace, and is sackable for all involved. Let's bring up the Premier League fixtures this midweek because there's an interesting card. Because there's teams in and around us with big fixtures and a chance for us to get points on these guys. Let me just zoom in on this, people. So, Bournemouth travelling to Brighton Tuesday night. That's a tough one as well. So, Bournemouth travelling to Brighton, they're one of the teams right in the mix. Difficult game. Villa travelling to Palace, difficult game. Fulham at Wolves, difficult game. Obviously, we've got Southampton. City travelling to Spurs. I know Spurs are shit right now. Tricky game. Arsenal Forest, 2 teams playing each other. Liverpool Newcastle, 2 teams playing each other. This is massive, by the way. This midweek is huge because if we can get 3 points against Southampton, then if Newcastle don't win, anything other than a Newcastle win, we leapfrog them. Anything other than a City win, we leapfrog them. So we've got an opportunity. To leapfrog a couple teams on Tuesday and Wednesday. We've got an opportunity, guys. Big opportunity to do that. Big opportunity. We are. I think someone said it in the chat. We are catching life right now. I don't know how we're doing it. I don't know how we're still in this because we should be dead and buried out of the Champions League conversation with our relegation level form. That we're demonstrating at the moment. But we're still in the mix. We are still in the mix. And with the fixtures the way they are, 4 of the teams above us are all playing each other. 4 of the teams above us all playing each other. So teams are dropping points. Guys. But yeah, that's basically it. The only reason we're still in the mix is because everyone else has been so inconsistent and has been on a similar level of shitness to us. Maybe not quite 2 wins in 10, but a similar level of shitness to us. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Somehow, with all the mess that we're in, all the shit that we're in. Yeah, it's mad, guys. It's mad. Yes, big up, big up. The performance of the Chelsea team since the Blue Coat takeover up to now has made me realise the difference between Middle East owners and US owners. Um, yeah, maybe. Yeah, it will do. Yeah, it's absolutely going down to the last day. This battle for Champions League football. No two ways about it, guys. No two ways. Excuse me. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, guys. We are. This is going to the final day. Absolutely going to the final day. But again, another opportunity. We've got the worst team in the league at home. This is a big chance of 3 points and a massive opportunity to leapfrog one or two teams, and put ourselves in a decent position with Leicester at home the following game as well. It's a chance to get 6 points on the board and a chance to put a few points gap between some of the teams that we're competing with. We cannot afford to drop the bag again. We've been again handed another opportunity at getting this Champions League football. I don't believe we get Champions League football, but the fact of the matter is, guys, we're still in the race. And as long as you're still in the race, you've got a chance. And we do have a chance. We absolutely have a chance. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out. I mean, the way that we're playing, it probably is going to be pretty grim. But there's a chance of Champions League. Everyone wants to be back in the Champions League. There's also a part of me that thinks we'd get absolutely battered in the Champions League next season, unless we made serious, unless we make serious additions in the summer, which I don't have faith that we will. We could get battered in the Champions League next season if we make it. Next 5 games has to be 12 points minimum. Basically 4 out of 5, provided we get thumped by Arsenal. Yeah, it needs to be 4 out of 5. I mean, what have we got? We've got Saints, Leicester, Arsenal. What's after Arsenal? It's international break after Arsenal, isn't it? And I think it's Brentford away or something. We won't get anything back until after the international break. We won't get anything back after the international break until after the international break. Yep, Liverpool done us a big favour today, big favour. But ultimately, we're talking about what other teams are doing. It's irrelevant if we can't pick up the points. It's absolutely irrelevant if we don't pick the points up. So, yeah, okay, it's great that other teams are giving us an opportunity, but those opportunities are completely irrelevant if we can't just do the basics and win games of football. No, I've got no cold, mate. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I just had a sneeze. That was all. Nothing to worry about here. Yeah, and this is once again a big problem. Once again, a big issue that all the money we've spent, and as a team, we are still pretty much Cole Palmer or bust. That's unforgivable with over £1 billion investment in the squad, that we are seemingly still overly reliant on Palmer. Yes, we've won games this season where Palmer's not contributed or not played well, but generally speaking, we are still a team that is heavily reliant on Cole Palmer, and that needs to change. And yeah, his performances haven't been good recently. We're lucky at other teams being inconsistent or dropping off, but we are only 5 points from 11th also. Yep, this is the context that we need to apply. Absolutely, we're a point outside the top 4. Great. But yeah, as Adam says here, we're 5 points off 11th. A few more defeats and we start tumbling down that table. We start tumbling down. So just as well, just like I'm saying, somehow we're still in the Champions League race. The bad form continues. We are also potentially heading towards the other end, potentially heading towards the bottom half of the table as well. No, I think they probably will get themselves together and get enough points. I know they're struggling and they're not great, but I still think they finished top 5. I still think they finished top 5. But, I mean, someone was mentioning Palmer earlier. Someone mentioned Palmer in the chat earlier. Let me scroll up and see if I can find this comment. No, it's gone. Anyway, let's speak on Palmer, because people, bro, somehow it's still possible. I don't believe we will, but somehow we're still in with a chance. Somehow, despite losing again at the weekend, we're only a point off top 4. I don't believe that we will do it, but we are in the race. That's the reality of the situation. We are in the race. So let's wait and see how it pans out, and let's wait and see, what happens, guys. Let's wait and see what happens on that one. But in terms of Palmer, like, I mean, let me just bring this up on screen. Let me bring this up on screen, guys. Bear with me. So yeah, Matt Law saying, I mean, this is just his opinion, by the way. I don't necessarily agree with it. Palmer's manner is more of a worry currently than his form. If he scored, Chelsea probably win, but would still love to know how Cucurella on Bogard wasn't given as a pen. I don't remember Cucurella on Bogard. Yeah, look, Palmer's getting frustrated. You can see that he's getting pissed off. And, he's throwing his arms about. He's not happy with things. And yes, his form has not been good in recent weeks. He's 6 games in all competitions without a goal now. But what I will say is, if any player is allowed to miss an opportunity, if any player is allowed to go through a difficult run of form, if any player is allowed to have a few difficult games, then Cole Palmer, who has carried this football club for pretty much the last 18 months, is that guy. Now, the miss yesterday is really poor. Really, really poor. And if Nicholas Jackson had missed that opportunity, he'd be getting absolutely hammered. So it is important that you bring the same energy when speaking about the players. And that was poor miss from Palmer, and he's been poor recently. He absolutely has. But the bigger problem for me is not Palmer being poor, it's the fact that no one else is stepping up. No one else is stepping up. And I can understand his frustrations, because how pissed off would you be if you've literally come in, made the impact that he's made, and the club have refused to sign quality around you? You've carried this team, as I said, for the last 18 months. And it's just, no wonder he's frustrated, and no wonder he's pissed off. No wonder. No wonder, no wonder, no wonder. He's bailed us out multiple times. He's made himself a star. And then the club have not put top quality players around him. They've weakened the squad across multiple windows. And yeah, I'd be fucked off as well. I would absolutely be pissed off if I was Palmer. Yes, you don't want that sort of body language on the pitch. I understand that. But, he's still a young player, inexperienced. And this is where having a lack of know-how and having a lack of experience on the football pitch is costing us big time, because there would be someone there normally to bring him back in line or other things like that. So yeah, it's mad. It's mad. But yeah, his form is a concern, and how do we get him back to his best is the other concern, because he played on the right against Villa, and that's where fans wanted him to play on the right. Fans wanted him on the right. First half, he wasn't really involved at all. It's the quietest he's been in a long, long time. Second half, he was more involved. He had the chance. He got on the ball a little bit more. Absolutely. But we just got no goals in the team. There's just no goals in the team whatsoever. No goals in the team whatsoever. I I don't know. You know, I don't know how we can get more out of him. How we can get the best out of him. You know, or get him back to his best. Sorry. You know, Nicholas Jackson is massive for Cole Palmer's game. Absolutely massive. And yes, you know, Palmer, when Jackson was fit, you know, did struggle a little bit, certainly in January and whatnot, before obviously Jackson got injured. But generally speaking, Maresca's been way too reliant on this Palmer Jackson axis. And like Jackson missing, whether people agree with me or not, has definitely had a direct impact on Cole Palmer's game. It's 100% had a direct impact on Palmer's game. Now, people, you know, saying they're worried about him leaving if we don't get the top four. Uh, I hear it. I absolutely hear it. But ultimately, he'd cost an absolute fortune, and you know, there's no clauses in his contract that allows him to leave if there's no Champions League. So I'm not saying that he can't leave or anything like that, because he can. If he wants out, then he can force a move. All players can do that. But yeah, even if we miss out on the Champions League this season, he'll still be here next season. But if it happens again, then I wouldn't be surprised at all if he tries to leave. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Do you think Maresca needs to go? No, I don't. Should have gone for Osman earlier in the summer window and been serious. I don't get why we have chased mediocre goalies and expensive injury-prone players. Yeah, bro, me and you both. I don't know why we've not invested in top quality. I really don't. We just put together a random bunch of talent from around Europe and the world, and we kind of just hoped for the best. Just chucked them on the pitch. Yep, go on. You try and make something happen. If you're going to do that, at least have an experienced manager in the dugout to try and mold it. Don't then just chuck a manager of no experience into the mix as well. Even if you get Europa League qualification better than, yeah, absolutely, it is better than that. But it's like there's no excuses for not getting the Champions League this season. No excuses at all. Yeah, Neto up top yesterday was good. Really was good. I was a fan of that. I was a fan of that. Um, bro, I don't agree with you, but I would love to be wrong. I would absolutely love to be wrong, and I hope you are right. But for me, I can't see it. Even though I've got absolutely no idea. There's literally been no update on him. No update on him whatsoever. You know, I don't really know what's going on. Got no idea what's going on. No idea whatsoever. But yeah, look, the truth is, guys, we should be third. We should be pushing for second. But we've got weak-minded players, weak mentality. We crumble every time we concede. We've got a manager who we don't know if he's any good or not, and we've got sporting directors who are absolutely incompetent. So, yeah, you know, Palmer has been missing for weeks now. What gives us confidence that players like Enzo, Caicedo, and Palmer would stay? It seems like Maresca might be sat to we keep going in a stretch, and no one wants to start from scratch again. No one wants to start from scratch again. So we need to keep the manager here next season, regardless, in my opinion. We need to keep the manager here next season. We have to. Bro, tell me again. Bro, that's a lot of ifs and buts there. A lot of ifs and buts there. But maybe it somehow works out that way. But right now, I just can't see how we're going to return to any sort of sustainable form over the last 12, 13 games. I personally don't see it. I just don't see it. Nah, bro, Palmer in the false nine doesn't work. We tried it last season on a couple of occasions. It just takes so much away from his game. So yeah, no, we're not doing that. Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, absolutely. We will, if we get in the Champions League somehow and we don't strengthen with the required quality in the summer, our squad will get absolutely cooked. We will get done differently. We legitimately will get done differently. No two ways about it. We get done differently, guys. If we get in the Champions League and we don't strengthen in the correct way. Yeah, bro, Elise, another one that we fumbled. You know, imagine if we'd got Michael Elise in the summer. Imagine. And that was possible, but we fumbled the bag, guys. We fumbled the bag. We fumbled the bag. Fumbled the bag big time. Yeah, I will be there. I will be there. I don't know how many other people are going to be there, but yeah, if you are able to turn up, make sure that you do, because you know the numbers are going to make a big difference to how effective this is and how much the message gets through. So if you are able to turn up, please make sure you do. You know, I support the protest. I'll be there myself. Despite what a lot of people have been saying, I'm not talking down on it. Me sharing concerns that not many people are going to turn up is not being negative about it. It's just me sharing my opinion that I don't think that many people will turn up. But that is why I'm urging people to turn up. Because, you know, if you are unhappy with how things are at the club right now and you're able to turn up, make sure you do turn up. 6 p.m. Tuesday outside Bovril Gate. Let's wait and see what happens, guys. But if you are serious about trying to get some form of change at this football club and trying to get the momentum rolling on potentially influencing any sort of change in the future, then you need to turn up here. If you don't turn up and we get a poor turnout, it reflects really badly on the fan base and shows that not many people are actually serious about trying to implement change at a football club. I think we keep Maresca, but if we don't get Champions League, we'll all just say we're not ready yet. But anyone looking in will know recruitment is done wrong. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. You know, we've seen how this pans out. We miss out on the Champions League. Another manager will just become the fool guy for the incompetence of the sporting directors. And then they will just pick another player. Sorry, then they'll just pick another manager when they've already failed with two. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. I think we need to get Gyökeres, bro. Yeah, bro. That's unfortunately, brother. We have to live in the real world here. That's never happening. Never happening. Gurhi and Kobel are possibilities. Barcola and Gyökeres are no chance. No chance at all. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree on that. Absolutely agree on that. Um, so yeah, we'll wait and see, but a statement window is needed. So yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about the window right now. Yeah, mate, there's loads. There's absolutely loads. If we were a serious football club, we would have Oshiman and Elise playing for us this season. Could you imagine that? Elise, Osimhen, Palmer, Neto on the left or whatever. Imagine if we had that. Imagine if we had that, you know. I know it's ifs and buts, but we fumbled the bag. We could have had Osimhen and Elise, and think how much different our season would be looking now. Think how much different our season would be looking. If we had Osimhen and Elise, which we could have done. So yeah, it's poor. It's really poor, guys. Really poor. We fumbled so many. Yeah, and I don't blame him one single bit. I don't blame him one single bit for that. I don't get why Josh, George, and Raksaki can't get any minutes. Like Villa, when you need energy off the bench, these are the guys for you. I mean, Raksaki, I don't think was even on the bench. I mean, why Tyreek George didn't play, I've got no idea. No, not any fault. But certainly he shouldn't be the first port of call for when people are looking to blame someone for yesterday. Because ultimately, as a collective, we weren't good enough. Palmer missed a big opportunity, and then Jorgensen made an absolute howler. We might need to do another big rebuild and base the team around Esteval. I don't think we need another big rebuild, but we need to just sign some top quality proven players. That's what we need to do. But I've got no faith we're going to do that. Bro, Poch was gone. Poch was gone then. We don't have Osimhen and Elise because we fucked about and we got shit sporting directors. That's why we don't have them, because we lacked ambition. That's why. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. And people, why we're struggling, and people wonder why we are where we are right now, and wonder why we're so unserious. So unserious. So unserious, guys. And it's not even like we can make that many changes to the team anyway. No, bro, I don't see it. I don't see it. We fucked about, and unless we're prepared to break that wage structure, he's not going to suddenly lower his money. You know, he will go elsewhere. He'll go elsewhere. That's the reality of the situation. Simple as that. Yeah, but fine. But changing the directors is going to be far easier to do than it is to get the ownership to sell. Far easier than getting the ownership to sell, guys. I mean, Poch was a loser and could not get top four. No, he didn't get top four, but ultimately we could have signed those two players, and we decided not to. Yeah, they are. The race for the Champions League spots is wide open, wide open. No one seems to want to finish there. No one. Yeah, and do you know why that is? Because Winstanley, Stewart, and Egbali have got nothing to do with it. It's funny that, isn't it? How the women's team is run like a serious football club, and that's the one that has the least to do with Winstanley, Stewart, and Egbali. It's funny that, isn't it? Bro, he's shit. He's shit. You know, he's crap. He's really crap. But people just don't want to hear it. And people just don't want to hear it. I've said so many times, this guy's got a talent, but he doesn't do anything. And Milan are now finding the same things. Why do clubs keep signing this guy? I've got absolutely no idea. Exactly that. Imagine last game of the season decide, it could well, it could well, it could well do. I mean, I don't know. A lot can change between now and the final game of the season. But yeah, right now you'd have to say you wouldn't fancy us to win that game. But yeah, I mean, it could easily come down to if we beat Forest on the final day, we get Champions League football potentially. It could essentially come down to that. I mean, I don't know who wants to do it, bro. That's not. I'm not talking rubbish. I'm not talking rubbish at all. The women's side, the women's teams run seriously. We're going out there signing top players, breaking transfer records and whatnot, and putting together a serious squad. It's the complete opposite on the men's game. The complete opposite. It's irrelevant whether there's more money in the men's game or not. The reality is that where the intentions and the way that things are being operated on the women's side are far more serious than they are on the men's side. That's the reality. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't care. But the reality is that the women's side is run like a far more serious institution than the men's side, and that's because Winstanley, Stewart, and Egbali have got the least to do with it. That's why, people. That's why. That is why. Sure, but luckily it didn't. Luckily it didn't. But yes, we are in, as I said at the top of the show. Yeah, of course wages are not the same. Of course they're not. No, it is. It is actually because they're not making the decisions. They've got Paul Green making the decisions, who's far more competent than Winstanley and Stewart will ever be. Felix weak mentality, always messing up his opportunity, but his son was awful the first spell. Yeah, bro, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, it's not hard to understand. It's night and day the way that the women's and men's teams are operated. Night and day. Yeah, of course. Everyone knows what we're missing. Everyone knows what we're missing, apart from the people who are actually making the decisions. You know, that's the reality. I wouldn't be surprised if they spent more time in Strasbourg. To be honest, I really wouldn't, because we seem to be signing players for Strasbourg rather than signing players for Chelsea. I wouldn't be surprised if Winstanley and Stewart spent more time focusing on Strasbourg because they had a better January window than us. They had a better summer than us, probably. It makes sense that they spent more time in Strasbourg. It absolutely makes sense that's happened. 100% that makes sense. That doesn't surprise me at all. But what we do need to do, guys, we need to go back to basics. We need to return to basics because right now, that is maybe the only way we're going to start picking up results. Inverted fullbacks, do that based on an opponent's setup. Don't do it by default every game. The bench has got to be trusted more. Use the academy players. Got to be proactive with subs and drop in Kunku. those are the small things that we need to do that could actually help us start winning some games of football. But am I confident that's going to be the case? No, I'm not. No, I'm not confident that's going to be the case. Not confident that's going to be the case at all. But those are the sort of basics, guys, that we need to be going back to. I can't remember, but that I don't know if that was said, but that's certainly part of the reason for sure. They'll only sign like-minded SDs. It won't make a difference. Yeah, no, I hear that. I absolutely hear that. Absolutely, I hear that. But we are in a difficult situation. We are in a difficult situation. And it's a big week. It's a big week. We play Tuesday night, and then we've got no game until March 6th, I think. So we play Tuesday night, and then no game until March 6th when we travel to Copenhagen, and then we play Leicester on March 9th, and then it's Arsenal away. No, so it's a second leg at home against Copenhagen, and then it's Arsenal away. So we've got some fixtures coming up which are winnable up until Arsenal. We need up until Arsenal. We need 4 wins: Saints, Leicester, and both legs against Copenhagen. We need 4 wins heading into that Arsenal game. Because if you can actually get to start with, 1 sporting director and 1 top class one, then things might be a little bit different. Things might be a little bit different. Things might be a bit different if we can do that. I think at some point they eventually will get the message, and there will be a slight deviation from the model. I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know how much worse things need to get for that to happen. But I imagine at some point the penny will drop for these guys. The penny will drop for these guys. He played for the under-21s the other week. I don't really know how he got on, but he played for the under-21s the other week. Let's wait and see. Ideas like, yeah, Neto was good through the middle. Neto was good through the middle. Bro, are you surprised that we didn't look that great when we've literally been playing one way all season, and then you change for a game and it doesn't look cohesive? Bro, people have said he was crap. He wasn't good yesterday. It's no big deal. He wasn't good yesterday. He wasn't, and he's struggling right now. And he needs other people to step up because he can't just all be reliant on him. But yeah, no, he wasn't good yesterday, and he's not been good in recent weeks. That's not a controversial thing to say. That isn't a controversial thing to say at all. I don't know why people won't say that. Do you think this season hamstring injuries seem to be too much compared to previous seasons? I don't really know. I mean, we've had a lot of hamstring issues for a while. We've had a lot of hamstring issues for a while now. I don't know if it's more than previous. No, I agree. Young players on low wages is not what we need. Yeah, that's no one's disputing that. Yeah, it will. But if it's anything like the last two windows, then it's going to be a problem. And it's going to be a problem. Absolutely, it's going to be a problem. Bro, we're not going to sign Livramento or Hall because we had both of them previously. Hudson Odoi we sold. Those are all four of those players came through at Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken. All four of those players came through at Chelsea. And yeah, some of them played for the first team and whatnot. And yeah, but obviously they've all moved on. They've all moved on in due course, guys. They've all moved on in due course. By the way, people, make sure you're smashing the like button as well. Subscribe if you're new around here. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. It's quite hard to tell when it's just written in text. It's quite hard to tell whether someone's being serious or not. Quite hard to tell if someone's being serious or not. Yeah, no, he was. It's just a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult to know whether someone's being serious or not. That's all. A bit non-existent, really. He come on, didn't really do anything. Yeah, it wasn't the best, shall we say? It was not the best. Yeah, bro, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And look, not every academy player is good enough for the first team. Absolutely. But we should be using it more given our injury problems. There's no reason why Achimpong or George shouldn't have played minutes yesterday. No reason whatsoever. They absolutely should have done. Achimpong should have been on for Gusto, and George should have come on for Nkunku instead of Sancho. You've got to use them more. You have to use them more. You have to. And whether they're ready or not, there is no perfect time to throw players in. No, throw them in and let's see what happens. Because absolutely, it's not going to be any worse. Any worse than what we're currently seeing. I wouldn't say Pep was done. Certainly this season there's been a big drop off. And let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens on that one. I don't think Neto was replaceable yesterday compared to the rest of the team. Yeah, Neto was very good yesterday. Very good. And at least we actually had some threat in behind for once, which hasn't always been the case this season. At least we had some threat in behind for a change. But yeah, for me, let's just, until the injured players start coming back, we should be sticking with that system. We should be sticking with that system that we saw yesterday until the injured players coming back. We should be going with that until after the Arsenal game. We should be going with that until after the Arsenal game. That's the reality. Maybe that first League Cup under Jose 2004-5. Maybe that one, or possibly the Europa League with Baku, or Europa League. Bro, we had 1.5 billion of debt under Roman. What's your point? Like, we were in loads of debt under Roman. What's your point here? I wish fans would stop pretending like they're financial experts. They're not. They're not. Yeah, all football clubs are in debt. What's your point here? We were 1.5 billion pounds in debt under Roman, and we spent money. I'm not spreading misinformation. Were we in debt under Roman? Yes or no? Very simple question. We were 1.5 billion pounds in debt. Yes or no? Is that a lie? Because I know, because it's not a lie, is it? He wiped out that 1.5 billion pound debt when he sold the club. We were 1.5 billion pounds in debt under him. That's a lie, is it? So when he sold the club, right, and he wiped out that 1.5 billion pound debt we were in, that wasn't debt then. We weren't in debt. Interesting. Bro, when you're going to talk about things, make sure you've actually got the right facts, because it doesn't look good. We were in debt under Roman, 1.5 billion pounds. Bro, we were in debt under him. I don't understand. I don't understand what the issue is here. Roman wipes the debt away personally himself at the end when he sold the football club. We were £1.5 billion in debt. And this is not a difficult thing to understand. Yeah, so Chelsea owed Roman £1.5 billion. So Chelsea were in debt to Roman Abramovich. We owed him 1.5 billion. Literally a very simple Google. A very simple Google. First thing that pops up, Chelsea's debt to Roman Abramovich now exceeds 1.5 billion pounds. Roman wipes that off himself. The club were in debt to Roman Abramovich. We were in debt previously under Roman. We were in debt to him. We were 1.5 billion pounds in the hole, and he wipes that off. Bro, that is debt. Just because you don't owe it to an external company or to a bank, that is still debt. We were in debt to a single person, you know? Yeah, we might be in debt to an organization or a bank or whatever. At the time Roman was in charge, we were in debt to him. This is not difficult to understand. Whether it's debt to an individual or debt to a bank or whatever, we were in debt under Roman. Yeah, he did wipe off the debt. Yeah, we front of shirt sponsor we need desperately, and we need top European football. We need top European football. Yeah, he did, and it's a unique situation. He put his bro. It's so basic. It's so basic, but people are not understanding it. We were in debt to Roman, and we're very lucky, as you say, bro, that he decided to write that off. You know, he decided to write it off. Otherwise, we'd be fucked. No, we don't owe Roman anything. We don't owe him anything because he wiped it out. All done. He wiped out the debt that we owed him, and he wiped out. Yeah, that's what he wiped out. He left us debt free. So he wiped out that debt when he sold the football club. He put his own money into the club, and we owed him that money, and he wiped it out when he sold the club. Yeah, exactly. Where's that? Where's that gone? You know, that's still frozen in some sort of bank account somewhere. Like, what's happened to that? Where is that? Yes. Big up. Sure. No, he wasn't paying interest to anyone. But how do we categorically know as a fact that because we're paying interest, we can't pay salaries? That's an assumption. That's an assumption. That is not necessarily true. There's no way of quantifying that. There's no way of quantifying that, whether that's true or not. That's your opinion. You know, that's fine if it's your opinion, but that's not fact. You know, it's not no one's I don't know what they would have done. I don't know what they would have done, but he didn't have to wipe that out. You know, we could still be owing him money. Bro, this is exactly it. This is exactly it. You know, football fans aren't accountants. They shouldn't try to be accountants. You know, at the end of the day, we should be focused on the football and the issues at the football club. I don't want to be speaking about finances. I don't care about finances. That's not for me to be getting involved in. You know, the most important thing for me is what's going on the pitch and the way the football club's being run in terms of our recruitment and those sorts of things. You know, I don't want to be talking to people about debt and loans and all this shit because we don't know about these things. We don't know about these things. That's the reality. We don't know about these things. And the beers, yeah, and the beers. Like, look, it's at the end of the day, like everyone's entitled to their opinion, no problem whatsoever. Bro, I don't care where the club's sending money. At the end of the day, we were making dodgy payments left, right, and centre under Roman. Left, right, and centre, dodgy payments all over the gaff. You know, ultimately, you could look into every football club and see that they're probably sending money to all sorts of various places. All sorts of various places. The reality is that if we're winning and if we were doing well, no one's speaking about this. That's the reality of the situation. No one's speaking about this if we're winning. Do you really think fans are pretending to be accountants and finance experts if we're second in the league still and we weren't on a run of 2 wins in 10 games? No, they're not. No, they're not. Doesn't mean that the problem's not there. It just means that people aren't speaking about it because it suddenly doesn't feel as important. It feels important now because we're doing shit and we're losing. That's the reality here, in my opinion. Yeah, the football's been poor. The football has been poor. What I'm saying is this is all come off the back of us being shit this season, us being shit in the last 10 games. You know, these issues have been here for the last 2 or 3 years. But only now are people starting to speak up about it because we're doing shit. Bro, I'm not bothered about being clued in on finances. That's not for me to worry about. Yeah, sure, we have sold well, and the net spend is good. Yeah, absolutely, mate. He's instilling that winning mentality. If you remember Kellyman, you'll know what and where the club is spending money. Remember Gallagher, then I'm sure we'll be singing the same song when they tried to sell Chalobah. Yeah, sure, you know, but what I would say is, right, all clubs are selling academy products, by the way. Not that I agree with it, but all clubs are doing it because in the PSR days that we're in right now, you know, academy players are very, very valuable. No, I know we're not winning. That's my point. The fact that we're not winning is why this is being mentioned so much at the moment. You know, but yeah. But yeah, anyway, guys, I'm going to round this one out here. It's a big week this week, Southampton and the protest. If you are around, bro, this is it. This is what all fans should be concerned about, really, is winning football matches and making sure that the club are recruiting in the right way. That's the reality at the end of the day. Bro, 100%. 100%. 100%. You know, fans should be worrying about winning games and worrying about the club signing good football players. That's what we should be worrying about. We shouldn't be worrying about investors and finance and debt and owing interest and all this stuff. You know, if you want to look into that, that's cool. No problem at all. Absolutely no issue. But as fans, that's not what we should be obsessing over. We should be worried about getting a front of shirt sponsor, getting back into Europe so that we can actually maybe have some more budget to sign players. But yeah, big week this week, guys. Southampton at home Tuesday. Once again, I'll reiterate. Score prediction for Southampton, 3-1 Chelsea for that one. But yeah, guys, I said big week. 6 p.m. Tuesday. If you are able to get down outside Bovril Gate, 6 p.m. Tuesday, protest before the Southampton game. Make sure you are there if you can. If you're not happy with how the club's being run, if you want to try and get momentum going, get the wheels in motion to get some change at the football club, make sure you are there. 6 p.m. Before the Southampton game outside of Bovril Gate. Guys, big love as always. It's all love in the chat. Big up to everyone. And yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow with more news, people. We're back again with more news. I'm not sure who's doing the live shows tomorrow, but there'll be a lunchtime show and an evening show. Make sure you are obviously stay tuned for those. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Up the Chelsea. And yeah, see you guys Tuesday if you're there. Peace.